Today is one of the biggest days in 49ers franchise history. Whether it's a good day or a bad day is up for debate. What's up? Welcome to the Instant Reaction Show. This is I'm Grant Cohn. That's Ashley Ariana and Connor Wayland. The Niners just gave out the biggest contract they've ever given out. 5 years, $265 million to Brock Purdy. That's $53 million a year on average. $165 million guaranteed for the first 3 years. That's $55 million a year on average for those first 3 years, not counting 2025. What are your thoughts on this deal? Good, not so good?
I'm excited to see how it's structured because if they have an out in 2027, which is when John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan's contract expire, I don't hate it. If they can move off of it without having a ton of dead cap, it makes sense. They've chosen Brock Purdy to be their guy. Now, I don't necessarily think after only 2 years you need to pay a guy a 5-year deal. But it doesn't make him, it doesn't reset the quarterback market. It doesn't make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. He's making closer to what Tua got. I think it's averaged 7th highest average annual per year, 8th average in total guarantees. So yes, that's high. I don't know if Brock Purdy deserves to be paid top 10, but compared to the fact that most quarterbacks are resetting the market, it kind of shows that they don't believe in him, enough to pay him that much. So feels like they both gave a little bit. I've been pretty vocal about the fact that I wish that they would have let him or made him play out this year. But if you're not going to make him play out this year, get it done early. It's done in May. That's, unheard of recently. So I'm glad that they at least did that.
No more drama. It's over. We don't have to ask questions anymore. My only thing with this is I was hoping that Brock was going to maybe get that 48 mil. 53 is not too much of a difference. So it's like, 53 per year. That's okay. And it is kind of, I feel like me and Grant, we were having a conversation about this earlier on in this off season, talking about, is that like 5 million or whatever we thought the difference was going to be between like a 45 million deal to the 50s? Is it worth all of the drama being done? And right now I'm kind of feeling good. Like the drama's over. He's locked in. It's a little more than I was expecting. I'll die on it though. Like that's okay.
Connor, you didn't want the Mac Jones quarterback competition this offseason with
that? Oh
that?
man, would have loved that. Oh my goodness. A battle of the true elites, Brock Purdy and Mac Jones. That would have been amazing.
I hate to be like predictable, but I don't really like this deal. I feel like the Niners negotiated against themselves. I mean, it's one thing to extend him, but $53 million a year, like, would another team really have paid him that much? And if not, like, why did the Niners do it? I feel like the Niners got a lot of flack early in the offseason for, like, not doing anything, letting a bunch of players go, being seemingly cheap. And then now they get to sort of take a victory lap because they have an easy schedule, and they just gave a ton of money to a guy who was already on their team. And they're going to say, like, well, this year we have all of our business done before OTAs and we have an easy schedule, so we're going to be good. And I don't really buy that. Like, I don't think this extension, getting it done in May, means that they'll be better in September. But at least, like to Connor's point, at least there's no drama. That's good. Drama doesn't help. But I mean, dude, like this, you just gave out the Tua deal. Do you really want to be the Dolphins? Is he that much better than Tua? I mean, I thought last year was kind of concerning, and you're like a kind of rewarding a guy after a 6-win season. That's dangerous. I don't know.
The Dolphins aren't happy with that deal, right? Like they would want to take it back. So I don't know if the 49ers would want to replicate what they're doing.
I think those two players too are like vastly different, to be honest. Like Tua and Brock, I feel like there is a big difference in their game. And if I had to choose my quarterback, I think I'd choose Brock. And I'm not even a Brock fanboy either. I just am really not high on Tua. So I think if you compare it to that, it's a worthwhile deal, honestly. Like if we're trying to compare it to Tua, it's great. if you compare it to a lot of other quarterbacks who are getting paid like they're like average year to year, it's definitely not amazing, but I'm taking it. Like, it's okay in today's quarterback market.
I don't want to turn this into a Tua versus Purdy thing, but if they were both on the open market, I wonder if Tua would make more. He was a first overall pick. He has a stronger arm. He can throw a beautifully accurate ball. His issues, in my opinion, are mostly that Dolphins O-line, which is an issue on the Niners too, and his health. But Brock Purdy hasn't been a picture of health. Obviously his injury concerns aren't as serious as Tua's, so I could see that being a point for Brock Purdy. But I mean, he's had throwing shoulder and throwing elbow injuries. Maybe, for his own personal self, it's not as bad as Tua, but for what you can do for an NFL franchise, I think, he hasn't been a picture of health.
Forget Tua for a second because he's AFC. Let's compare Brock to some NFC quarterbacks. So he's currently making more money than Jalen Hurts, who's getting $51 million a year on average. He's making more money than Matthew Stafford, who's getting paid $40 million a year on average. He's making more money than Jaden Daniels, obviously, who's on a rookie deal. So just in terms of like the Niners' outlook for the future, I think it's going to be tough for them to be as good as those top teams in the NFC. Like maybe they can be as good as Detroit, but I feel like Detroit's going to kind of fall back down to earth without Ben Johnson when they're spending a lot of money on Jared Goff. Like those are the teams that you really got to compete with in the NFC. The Rams, the Commanders, and the Eagles. And I feel like this contract is going to make it so difficult for the Niners to really compete with them. I mean, maybe that's getting too far ahead of things, but like that's what you play to do, right? To like win the Super Bowl. This gives the Niners like organizational stability, but I don't see how it puts them in a better position to like for that quest for 6. Are we still on the quest for 6? Are we doing the quest or did we stop? Are we camping?
I mean, you absolutely need to build your team to be able to win your division, to be able to win the NFC, and to be able to win the Super Bowl. The thing that you just said about like organizational stability gave me like kind of scary thoughts because I'm like, I don't want to be the Cowboys. Like, oh, the Cowboys locked up Dak, but are they actually ever in competition? And if you think you mentioning the Commanders was specifically interesting because the 49ers were just in a position where they had the largest bargain in the NFL. Brock Purdy was the largest bargain in the NFL with being Mr. Irrelevant on that contract. And they just went from having a steal to now paying that guy top 7. Can he play like a top 7 quarterback? And the Washington Commanders, they get to bolster up their talent. They get to bolster up their offensive line, their defense, their weapons. The 49ers, can Brock Purdy play well enough to make up for not having an O-line? You said, earlier on this offseason, the 49ers might be feeling pressure because they didn't go out. They didn't get Drew Dolman at center. They didn't go out and get an offensive lineman in the draft or in free agency. Can Brock Purdy overcome that? And if he can't, is he going to get hurt? And now you're paying $53 million for him to, be injured and Mac Jones to be playing anyways? I don't know.
I mean, the big question mark, honestly, in all of this that I feel like determines the future for the 49ers is kind of what you're hitting on the most, Brock Purdy's health. If Brock Purdy is going to get hurt at all during this contract, the window's really screwed. And we've seen it happen in the past. If Brock Purdy is able to remain healthy throughout this contract, I think it opens their window still and they really have a chance. Because if you have a quarterback that has played in the Super Bowl, I think that means something, as much as we want to rag on Brock, like that is something that's really important. You've been there, you've seen what happened, you know what to do next time. And I think as long as the health stays there, we're good. We're good.
So Brock has started 36 games in the regular season, plus that one where he came in like after the first drive. So let's say that 37 almost full games in the regular season, plus 6 in the playoffs. That's 43 games essentially in his career. He's gotten injured 4 times. He got injured in his first start against, I want to say, Tampa Bay. Didn't miss a game, but got injured. Then he blew out his elbow. Not his fault. That was a big injury. Then last year, he hurt his shoulder, missed a game, came back, hurt his elbow again, end of the season. 4 injuries in 43 starts. Like, that's roughly 1 a season. And that's concerning considering how much they're paying him and his frame and his history. So, yeah, like beyond the fact that he's coming off a down year and his resume is thin, you'd have to call him injury prone. And if he were to get another injury, you'd have to look at it as like, you know what, you ignored something really big, a big red flag on his resume, and you gave him the money anyway. So we'll see.
So what do you do?
Downside.
Sorry, just like what?
Downside making him play out the next year, I feel like. Because you could have gotten more data. Okay.
Drama.
To me,
they spent a premium to just have like a drama-free organization, but it's like, to me, you could call it drama or you could call it competition. Like, there's a way to frame it. But Connor, what were you gonna say?
Oh, honestly, I got distracted by a fly. But I think what I was gonna get at is just reiterating what you were talking. I had to kill the fly, man. I'm sorry. That motherfucker was really just flying around the room. I had to get him. But no, I agree with exactly, dude. Like, they're the worst. Like, worst. Can't do it. But I just wanted to reiterate what you were saying, is that you're paying that money for less drama. And when you don't have that drama and you make your quarterback happy, a lot of good things happen. If you look at any team recently that has pissed off their quarterback, the future does not look good for them typically. It never really looks too bright. The Packers, they got Jordan Love in the background, but when Aaron Rodgers left, that was yucky. I mean, honestly, now it's just going to be an Aaron Rodgers thing because it's the same thing with the Jets. They look yucky too. Like, it's just, no matter what you look at it, there's always some bad things. The Steelers, boom, lose both their quarterback. Like, I don't know.
Can I say I think both of those organizations just didn't handle the drama well. If you look at Lamar Jackson, he played out his contract, and the Ravens have they have a great coach, they have a great staff, they held themselves to a standard. They didn't let the quote unquote drama of Lamar Jackson playing out an extra year destroy their season. Instead, they helped it propel them into greatness. Okay, Lamar Jackson is on a mission to prove what he's worth. We're gonna keep it moving, and we have our goal to go to the Super Bowl, go to the playoffs, to play, have a great season. And we're not gonna let. I don't know. To me, that the drama thing shows that you're not a very secure organization and you don't have a great standard. If the quarterback not being there is going to derail things.
To me, also, like, this is a very player-friendly deal. Like, we thought the Niners might play a little hardball here. Like, he gets $55 million a year for the first 3 years. He gets it right away. I mean, they caved quick. They gave him pretty much what he wanted. I mean, maybe he wanted $60 million a year, but $55 million for the first 3 is great for him. And one more thing, like, they can say, like, okay, well, we're paying him like a top 7 quarterback. Maybe he's not a top 7 quarterback, but he's put up those numbers on our team. In our context, he can be that, which is true. I mean, that's factual, but it seems to me that, like, so much of that depends on 2 guys, McCaffrey and Williams. Like, when CMC's not out there, he's not as efficient. He pushes the ball down the field more. He takes more risks. He holds the ball longer. We saw that last year. And then without Trent, that pocket is just, that offensive line is awful. Like, I don't understand what the point of putting any highly paid quarterback behind an offensive line that doesn't have Trent Williams. So as long as Christian and Trent are here for the next 5 years and playing at a high level, the Niners are great. They'll be fine, and this contract will work out. But otherwise, they might have to figure some things out.
How old are both of those players right now?
A little old. They're both a little old.
Technically, Christian's only 28, and
he's
Trent's
younger,
36, which I would kill to be 36. Kill.
I would not.
37 is a whole different ballgame.
I mean, that's insane. If you're adding 5 years to those ages, and them playing at the top of their level. You're
saying that Trent Williams can't play when he's 42? Wow, you're just writing him off.
I'm saying that we've seen regression, and if you're not willing to acknowledge that Trent, although still an incredible player, is not playing at his highest level, then you're blinded by your fandom.
I do think that there's like an honest question that I want to ask you guys now, in like the sense of, let's say Christian McCaffrey, injuries happen, he's gone out of the league in 2 years, right? Worst case scenario that happens. Do we not have any faith in Brock Purdy's ability to maybe improve and start to, see things and do a lot better plays, increasing precision in certain zones of the like throwing? Like, do we not think that's possible, or do you think Shanahan's going to drag him down so much that he cannot even get to a point where the contract has value to you? That's where I'm really curious.
The ending part of that question was really interesting, because when you started it, I was like, okay, well, it's hard to just like say you're going to write off a player and that there's no room for improvement. Although I do think he's probably closer to his ceiling. My initial reaction, I was like, okay, he's making a good point. And then you said the Shanahan thing. If you look at quarterbacks who have been with Shanahan long term, they get worse. Their confidence goes down. Their independence, their ability to think on their feet actually regresses. So
Well,
it's kind of
can we go
interesting.
systematically with Brock though? Like where could he improve? I don't think his arm's going to get much stronger. I don't
No.
think he's going to become much better of a deep passer. He's already a very good scrambler. He's a hell of an intermediate passer. He's got great touch over the middle. Is he going to become more accurate? Maybe. Is he going to become like a better decision maker and throw fewer picks?
That,
He
I
needs
think,
to.
is
He
the
freaking
biggest
needs to.
area.
Like that, maybe there. So I think, yeah, he can get better. I don't know if he can like become a whole lot better, but he can absolutely he needs to make incremental progress because to me, he's not as good as people make him out to be. He had a great year in 2023 and he gets hailed as being this incredible decision maker and processor. I don't think he's proven that yet. I think he's had moments, but when you're on a team like the 2023 team where someone's open on every play, if not 2 or 3 guys, man, I don't know if it's processing. Now is the time to prove it, and he can. We'll see.
I think when I'm bringing up the Shanahan thing too, what my brain was going to that was the idea of him being able to take control more of offense, call more audibles, change a lot of different things. And I'm worried that maybe Shanahan won't let him do that. But I think as long as he's able to show stuff, maybe Shanahan, his ways change and he gives him some more freedom.
This is interesting. Like, do you think that now that Brock Purdy's getting paid all this money, that Shanahan will treat him differently? Like, hey, man, you've kind of been my joystick for a while. I tell you what to do. I press the buttons on the PlayStation controller and you freaking do it. Now you got a little bit of ownership. Now we're going to install some hurry up offense where you call the plays and you're in control. And hey, actually, I'm going to let you dictate the protections sometimes. And you can call in all of it. Is that an audible? Is that coming? Or is it just like, hey, Brock, don't get it twisted. Just because we're paying, it's just the market, baby. It's still my offense.
This is my team. Okay, Brock, this is my team. I think it also to like that thought. And then the other thought that I was thinking about too is I've always seen this thing of athletes. Okay, do your thing. It's you and me, Ashley. Forget the cone zone.
You're seeing this with athletes.
Say it again.
You said you're seeing a thing with athletes.
Oh yeah. Thing with athletes being that when they do get that bag, they slowly realize, oh, there we go, got a charge. They slowly, don't try as much. They're like, I was working to get the bag. I got the bag. Now I can kind of ease off the gas a little bit. Is Brock going to be that too? Like he gives off the impression of a blue collar guy, but is he going to?
Obviously, we don't know, or you do, I guess, Grant, but I don't know Brock personally. I would think one of the reasons that you pay a guy, top 10 money who doesn't have a top 10 arm and maybe hasn't consistently played at a top 10 level is because you do believe in his football mindset. I think if they're banking on anything, it's not his, accuracy is going to improve. I think that they think he's a football guy and that he's not going to stop trying. He's not going to be the guy who gets paid and goes and buys 3 Lambos. And
that's what I was going to ask. New question for the group. Do you guys think that Brock Purdy will change?
Oh, dude, you missed this. You missed this.
Brock Purdy, like
up already.
Because like he used to be the guy. Did I miss this?
Yeah. You went and get your charger, and that was exactly what I was
thinking. Like, he used to be the guy who would show up to the games wearing JCPenney. You know what I mean? Like, was that all an act? Is he going to be coming out looking like Joe Burrow now and like straight up Balenciaga? You know what I mean?
If I see Brock Purdy come out iced out with like Supreme with like some, I'm gonna lose my. That's gonna be so funny.
I'll like him so much more if he has like that kind of a evolution. Because I like the like howdy doody, all American boy. It's very endearing, man. But like now, you gotta like this is chapter 2 of your persona, and there's gotta be growth. There has. I need to see a little bit. Like he's been the PG Brock for 3 years, and we like PG Brock, man. That's sold out. It's a blockbuster event, but I want to see rated R Brock now. Okay, I want to see I don't know if we're on his side or not. I don't know where he's coming from. I want that Brock.
You want like current. You want the John Cena wrestling arc, like good guy era, super nice guy. Now he's like, you know what? F you kids. Like I don't care. Like that's the vibe.
Yeah. Oh, my camp for kids. F the kids. Sorry.
But think
We're
about
done.
the quarterbacks that Kyle likes, and I imagine that Brock Purdy doesn't get paid if it doesn't have the stamp of approval from Kyle on it. Kyle loved Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins was wearing flannels after making shit tons of money because he's just gone wherever has paid him the most forever. So I
What about the chains,
I'm
though?
not trying
What
to
about the
poo-poo your I
chains?
like I like your when you do that voice and your eyes light up, Grant. But I would bet that Brock Purdy stays very similar. Or at least that the 49ers think that he will. And that if he does start showing up in Balenciaga, they're going to be upset because they're paying him, once again, not for his skill set, but because they think he's a football first guy. They don't think any of this other stuff matters and they don't think money's going to change him. John Lynch went on Chris Sims' podcast and talked about money changing players and how it really makes him side eye players. He's met a couple players. This is pure speculation. I think one of those players he was talking about was Jimmy Garoppolo because he talked about
I think
football
another one they were
people.
talking about was Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here's the thing. You don't know how money's going to change this guy because he hasn't had it. He hasn't freaking had it. What if he decides that he loves Ferraris?
You know what? Now
What
I'm
if he
just like,
decides that he really loves, I don't know. What if he decides that Toyota's just not doing it for him anymore? You know what, Toyota? Thanks, but no thanks.
Bye. I don't want your sponsorship anymore.
Yeah.
I like Aston Martins. That's what I like. I like that. No, I'm now just have an amazing thought in my head of what if Brock just goes, this is not going to happen at all, but just dream with me for a second that he goes on like a Shaq big contract tour of like literally spending all of the money, like all of it in like a week. It's like, oh yeah, I want to buy like a hotel. I'm going to buy 5 houses, 20
Private
cars.
jet.
Oh wait, I'm out of money. Oh shoot. Like that that would be so, I'd feel terrible, but that'd be so
Oh,
fun.
Trent Williams has a private jet. I have 5 private jets.
Yeah, actually, I have a Boeing 737. Like, yeah, what are you gonna do?
Oh, Kyle has a little cabana in Cabo. I have an entire resort.
God, oh my God, it's so fun to dream.
To portray organizational stability, the 49ers paid Jimmy Garoppolo the second that they could. And they didn't bolster their offensive line, and he almost immediately got hurt. And so part of us, we can say Jimmy was never worth it, that he didn't have the right mindset. But part of us will never know what he would have been like if he didn't get injured immediately after getting paid. And when you look back and you say what a bad deal that is, a lot of that is his play. I mean, he couldn't move after he got injured. He was tap dancing in the pocket. Is
Let me
this
say something real
year
quick about
quick,
what
really
York
quick,
said.
this
Oh, go ahead.
schedule,
Sorry.
really quick, because this schedule, everyone's talking about how easy it is, how great it's going to be. Is there a possibility that right now they're portraying organizational stability, they're paying Brock Purdy, but then they didn't bolster this offensive line and Brock Purdy gets hurt and is never the same? I mean, that's something that I'd be more fearful about.
I
If their
agree.
mindset really was, we can't spend in free agency because we have to pay Brock, to me, their mindset was like, their objective was wrong. You have to be able to protect the player that you're about to pay.
Agree. And it's funny, like they extend Brock a day after selling 6.2% of their franchise, 6.2%. So there was a report early in the offseason that they were looking to sell up to 10%. Then at the owners' meetings, York was asked about what's that about. And he said it's a family asset allocation decision. Direct quote, family asset allocation decision. It's one of those word salads that kind of sounds like it means something, but it really doesn't. But I guess they were allocating those family assets to Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Is the
Wait, that's who it's getting sold to? Wait, what?
Well, I mean, they sold they sold
Okay, wait,
6.2% of their franchise to get
I knew that. Yeah.
$500 million, which they turned around and gave half of to Brock. So I don't think it's any coincidence that this deal gets done a day after they sell 6% of their franchise. And that's how big of a deal this is. They had to sell part of their freaking franchise to get this done. So Brock essentially owns 6%, although he doesn't own any, but kind of.
Imagine being those families too. Like, oh, hey, like, yeah, I got you here, Brock. Yeah, I did that with my 2.2%. I did it.
Thank me.
Talk about someone who's like invested in his success.
Yeah, really
Jesus.
invested. Maybe that's what they sold him on. Like Jed was in the meeting with them discussing selling it, and he's like, "Hey guys, you want Brock to stay? Then you have to buy the team. You have to, or else I'm not doing it. That's it."
Well, I think that they kind of admitted they were a bit of a cash poor family. Like they had a lot of money, but they didn't have it up front. And in order to sign someone to an extension, they actually have to have the money in escrow. Am I right, Grant?
Correct. The guaranteed money. So if it's 181 guaranteed, they got to put that in an escrow account. They have to have the cash. And the thing about the Niners Enterprises, they're worth almost $10 billion, but they're invested in so many things, including multiple soccer teams. So whether they have, clearly they didn't have the cash. Then they got it yesterday and they just handed it over to Brock. So Brock, well, he doesn't get it yet. It's in an escrow account. I don't really understand how money works. I'm 37 years old and I'll never have escrow accounts. No one's going to ever have to worry about that with me. But Brock, congratulations and the entire Purdy family. We have 17 super chats. We're going to get there in a minute. But first, this is a Prize Picks show. So why don't we make some Prize Picks before we get going? No more Warriors to pick because they're freaking out. But
Stop.
And before we go on, I owe Connor a bottle of wine, which I will pay up tonight when I see you. But let's do some quickies. Jalen Brunson, 30.5 points in an hour and a half against Boston. 30.5. Ashley, what are you thinking here? It's a lot, huh?
Yeah.
Or
I was
less or more. Less or more. Those are the only two options here. I'm going less.
I said less.
Okay, cool. I'm going with your pick then. What about Jaylen Brown, now the top dog on the Celtics with Jason Tatum out, 26.5 points, more or less? Don't use the U word.
I'm not.
More?
More.
26 is a lot.
I'm going opposite of both of you on everything so far. Like, I'm just going to be honest. I'm thinking more for JB and I'm thinking less for Jaylen Brown because I hate that guy so much.
I'm gonna let you pick the Jaylen Brown one. Although, where did he go?
Down.
I think he vanished. Oh, yep.
Oh, we didn't get it in time because the game's about to start.
See, that's the thing with Prize Picks. You got to be quick.
You got to be quick with the Prize Picks.
What
about
that Derek White?
13.5 assists and rebounds for the guy. Did 20 in the last game. Connor, you picked that one.
Yeah, we can take more for that. We can take the more. He's going to have to facilitate to keep the offense going, so I'll take that.
All right, Ashley. What about Karl Anthony Towns for New York? 20.5 points. He's been hovering around there. He's right around there every game.
I feel like I'm going to say less because we said more on the other guy that's on his.
That's a savvy pick. I love that. It's a savvy prize pick. Connor, Josh Hart, 12.5.
Oh, goodness. Josh Hart is either like scoring a bunch or he's scoring nothing. So I think the Knicks are winning it and closing it out. So give me the more. I think they got
more. Somehow I just did double Josh Hart. I don't know actually about that. That's enough. Let me slip check. Oh, wait. Whoa. I submitted the lineup.
Is there a Giants one?
Ooh, we could do more. Hold on, let me see.
Snap.
Oh, snap. Because it's Giants and A's this weekend. I couldn't name one player in the A's.
Giants.
Ramos?
I don't know Giants players, so not me. I know A's.
Hey, Ashley.
Yeah, don't say that. Sorry.
I think that's enough prize picks for this time. Maybe we'll save the Giants for next time.
We'll do that next time.
But I'm good at the Giants.
You're good at the Giants?
Yeah, we should.
All right, one. Who do you want to pick? Logan Webb?
Yeah, Logan Webb.
All right, 6 strikeouts for Logan Webb, more or less.
More.
Love it. We're going to leave it right there. But we're definitely going to make the pick official, I promise. Okay. All right, let's take 17 super chats and get back to the show.
Not counting it because of me?
No, it counts. Connor, tell her it counts.
It counts, dude. Come on.
It counts. Don't worry about it. All day, every day, Kim says 5 years of Brock Purgatory. Good job, Niners. Brock Purgatory. You get it? I get it.
That was a good one.
I like that one. Brock is worth 30 to 35 a year. Hope the Niners know what they're doing. Says David Kindle Jr. Zach Rivero says, I'm happy we didn't break the bank, but I'm infuriated that he's paid less than other quarterbacks who have nothing to show for it, e.g. Cheeks Prescott.
Wasn't Dak the number 1 in the league? Like, no one's past Dak.
he's also making more than like Patrick Mahomes and I don't know. The
I
way
think
the quarterback.
I think he was being tongue in cheek. I think he was joking.
Oh, okay.
I see.
Zach Rivero. Frank White says 265 million for a quarterback that can't play in bad weather. But the thing about it is it never rains in Northern California. It never rains in that's Southern California. Oh, damn it. All day, every day, Kim says, first quarterback to ever have a 6-win season and get paid like a champ or MVP. NFL best reality TV show next to politics. I have to agree. I love the Niners. Just the things they do, the decisions they make. Joseph Ernberg, more fans of a story than team success. More fans of a story than team success. Effing clowns. Paying Brock equals Kyle fired soon. Valid sacrifice. Joseph is not happy.
Yo, he's been watching Severance. Is Kyle the GOAT?
Poop Saget says, hi, Grant. Hi, Poop. Mr. Insanity says, what did Grant do? What did Purdy do last year to earn this contract?
He showed he could not play when the Stars were injured.
He beat Tampa that one time.
Overtime.
That one time.
He beat Tampa.
He beat Baker.
I'm trying to think. What else did he do? He beat Aaron Rodgers.
He beat Rodgers. Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah. Hall of Fame quarterback.
Games.
Yeah. You didn't think about that, did you? Crazy Rod 16 says, now Purdy got his money. Let's see if he can play like a top 5 quarterback without the Avengers. I'm poor. Donates $2. Clearly not that poor. Says Brock contract equals can now practice with a wet ball. They can afford it. Seymour Butts 82 says if they don't win at least 11 games with his easy ass schedule, then Kyle needs to go and they need to retract Brock's contract. LOL. We're going to talk about record predictions in a second. I want to hear what Ashley and Connor have to say about that. All day, every day, Kim says, I'm out on SF, folding up my Niners gear, putting it in a bin somewhere in the garage, but not throwing it out. She's just kind of like leaving it there just in case she wants to get it later. I see what you're doing. This regime makes strange moves to stay publicly relevant. Is that what they're doing? Are they trying to stay publicly relevant?
Adam Schefter did just talk about them in their schedule on NFL Network a day ago.
I think the league wants them to be publicly relevant.
Yep.
They have
one of the largest fan bases.
Games.
Foot donates $10. Thank you, Foot. Says, I didn't want them to extend him. I think it's a mistake, but really they gave him a standard market contract. He's like 8th in quarterback contracts. They didn't pay him like an elite quarterback and probably an out after 2 to 3 years. Foot, thank you so much for that sensible response and comment.
And honestly, just thank you for having the username Foot. That's my favorite username I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that yet. Propa says, I didn't think a huge contract was warranted, but he's a similar level to Hurts despite a way worse O-line. It's on the Niners to build back the roster.
Actually,
maybe
like
next year they'll get that O-line.
Is he a similar level to Hurts? Does he score rushing touchdowns? Like as many rushing touchdowns as he does?
Yeah, I'd have to. Hurts has played two really good Super Bowls. Brock hasn't played one really good Super Bowl yet.
He played like the best quarterback in the Super Bowl, the most recent Super Bowl he was in, and arguably maybe played like the best quarterback in the first Super Bowl he was in. His team just lost. Like has Brock Purdy ever looked that good on a big stage, particularly?
I mean, he's very handsome.
Brock had some good games, but what about games that were playoff level games or going to think about the Rams game. That was basically a playoff game because if they didn't win, they were out of the playoffs. Brock sometimes shrinks in those moments. Hurts doesn't.
Dan I. says, to quote Yoda when he felt the paradigm shift, the shroud of the dark side has fallen. We just sealed our fate. Yeah, I don't think this was a great move. Puka's going to throw a Brock contract party. Yeah, Puka thinks it's over. Will Chrissy says, T-Wolves, baby.
I will stop.
Gwendolyn Plays says, does that mean CFL Saskatchewan Roughriders gets Curtis Rourke in 2026 because they drafted him?
That was so funny. How that
Shyla Q says, I'm glad we paid Brock. Now we need a better O-line. Shyla, from your lips to God's ears.
Can I put one thing out really quick? Because that T-Wolves thing, it just brought out a thought that I've been having in my brain for probably ever since the Warriors got eliminated. Do you know what music they were playing in the Timberwolves arena when there was the last game of the series and they were eliminating us? Guess what artist they were playing? They were playing Too Short Blow the whistle.
that's just rubbing it in our
That-
faces.
That was criminal, and I'm not letting them get away with that. Next year, I swear to. Okay, back to football.
Quick, who's the greatest rapper of all time from Minneapolis? Trick question. It doesn't exist. Okay.
There we go.
So Adam Schefter, huh?
Prince.
Well, yeah, he didn't rap though, but yeah, he was definitely from Minneapolis. Good call. So Adam Schefter was recently on ESPN, was asked, hey, Niners, things looking up for the Niners, right? Things looking really great for the Niners, right? This was before Brock Purdy signed his extension, but you can throw it on there. Hey, they got their quarterback signed. Easy schedule. He's like, well, not so fast. I wouldn't say that. They lost a lot of players, and they have a lot of holes on their team, and they're not just going to cruise back into the playoffs. What do you think realistic expectations for this team are in 2025? What's a fair expectation for this team?
Thinks it's hard to gauge, to be honest, because we've never seen this team without some of these holes. But my rough assessment, given how this schedule is looking, I think they're a 10-win team. I think if they're not, I'd be surprised. I think they have to at least get 10 wins. It seems like the NFL is kind of feeding them the 10 wins. You keep shuffling us around, man.
Sorry.
We're playing musical chairs. I kind of love it. But no, I think this has to be a 10-win team. Even with all those holes, I think the schedule is easy enough that they should be able to get that. I'm more intrigued to hear what you guys think, because I think you guys are not on my wavelength. I think you guys are saying less.
No, I had them at 13-4.
Okay.
My takeaway was that if they get less than 10 wins, I mean, it's just crazy how far they've fallen, right? Like expectations. If they had this season, like takeaway, if we wiped last season from our memory and then we saw this schedule upcoming, you would think that the expectation would be the 49ers were going to go 17-0, 16-1 for a fluke game. Imagine if, like, the Niners used to be held to the standard of a Super Bowl contending team. Imagine if the Bills had this game or had this schedule. Like, to me, it's upsetting that the standard has fallen so far, that the 49ers have fallen so far from grace. There's no way that Kyle should still be a coach on this team. I know that his deal isn't done till 2027, and Jed York isn't going to want to fire him before then. But there's no way that he should last if they get fewer than 10 games, Connor. So I think 10
is like the limit to me. Like, it has to be at least 10.
Horrible teams. No offense to those teams.
Yeah, but I just want to say real quick, I think it's interesting how the Niners are usually very conscious of the narrative around their team, and they want to control it, in my opinion. And so all offseason, they've been lowering the bar of expectations. Like, hey, we just lost 9 starters. We replaced none of them. None of them. We're going to start maybe 6 rookies. But we're confident. But, like, that's the backdrop. And all of a sudden, you knew they had the easiest schedule. I mean, we already knew that their opponents. But it's like finally the order comes out and everyone's like, oh, my goodness, they're going to be really good this year. And Schefter comes out and he's like, pump the brakes. Look, I love conspiracy theories. So all I know is that in 1999, he co-authored a book with Mike Shanahan called, like, The Winning Edge. Look it up on Amazon, whatever. But I mean, he wrote the book with him. I would think he has his number, and maybe they talk still. And I'm thinking, if I were Kyle Shanahan's father and I heard everyone talking about how good his team's going to be this year, I might want to talk to one of my guys in the media and be like, dude, can we lower the expectations on my kid for a little bit? Because it might not go so well this year. What if the rookies aren't good? I mean, usually some rookies are good and some rookies aren't. You don't hit on all the freaking draft picks. Like, Michael Williams could be good and Alfred Combs could be bad, or vice versa. We don't know. And you don't know who's going to get hurt. So I feel like that was almost, I just feel like Adam Schefter doesn't pontificate without talking to people. We know who he knows. It's in the Shanahan's interest to lower expectations. I don't know what's going on. I have the suspicions.
But, like, what type of look does that give you if you have the easiest schedule and you're supposed to be one of the better coaches, and then you're also getting somebody like being like, hey, like, let's not have these expectations, like that just.
Yeah, but from Kyle's perspective, aren't you mad? Like, hey, man, we got this easy schedule, and now is the year you decide to, like, rein back in spending and not bring in any outside free agents? Like, hey, could we do that next year and not this year?
I mean, yeah, that's one way to look at it. Or the other way to look at it is Kyle's just like, okay, well, maybe I have worse of a roster, but we're playing way worse teams, so it kind of evens itself out. Like, I think those are kind of the only two ways that he could look at it.
the Chiefs don't run away from their expectations, right? Like every year, it's like the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. The Chiefs traded Tyreek Hill. The Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. The Chiefs got rid of some of their O line, some of their D line. They're going to win the Super Bowl. They weren't like trying to squash the expectations. They were like, no, we're going to live up to them. Now I know they ended up not winning the Super Bowl, but they didn't run away from those narratives. And I feel like if you want to be a top team, you shouldn't be scared that people are going to think you're going to perform well. But will they perform well? I agree with you, Grant. Obviously, defensively, they have rookies. And then even as the rookies round into shape, Kittle, I love Kittle. I'm glad they extended him, but he's older and has been injury prone in the past. I don't know if it's a topic, but there's talks that they're going to work on Fred Warner's deal now. Fred Warner, for the first time in his career, was hurt last year. Then you have Trent Williams, who, like you said, is much older. Chris McCaffrey, who has an injury that is an overuse injury. So if Kyle doesn't change the way that they call plays for him, to me, it's almost inevitable that he might get hurt. So even if they do hit on all the rookies on defense, what do they do on offense?
Win 13 games, obviously, maybe 14. I think it's clear those are the expectations for this team. I just feel like they could lose a lot. They could have a similar season as last year, and they have excuses baked in already. Well, we had to start 5 rookies. I mean, what do you expect? What do you expect when you have to start 5 rookies? Or you know, Trent Williams got hurt and missed 8 games. What do you expect? What does it do? Trent Williams, it's like, okay. I mean, it could break their way this year if Trent stays healthy and Christian stays healthy and Brock stays healthy, and like 4 of those rookies are pretty good. So it's a 12, 13 win team. Hell yeah, absolutely. No question about it. But I don't expect that to happen. And I don't want to sit here and be like, I'm projecting Trent to get injured week 7 and it's going to be an ankle. Like, nah, that's gross. But still, I mean, to project him to not get injured is also a projection. You gotta come down one way or the other when you're making these, you know, gotta think.
You gotta pick a side.
You gotta pick a side. So one more thing before we get to some predictions, and there's some more news. One take from the schedule release is that the NFL still believes in the 49ers, because despite the Niners having a 6-11 season last year, they have 5 primetime games this coming season. So 2 ways to look at it. There's the positive way to look at it. The NFL believes in the 49ers and is going to put them on primetime because it's going to be a good team. Or the NFL is trying to prop up the 49ers because they're the team with the biggest fan base west of the Mississippi. Definitely west of the Rockies, and it's everyone makes more money when the Niners are good. What do you guys think?
I mean, yeah, it feels like it's just as simple as that. It's like it's when one of your bigger teams is successful, the whole league is going to continue to thrive. It's like how when the Cowboys are really good, the league is doing well. When the Niners are really good, it's the same thing. The league is doing really well. It's just how life is and when it comes to sports, and whether you like it or not, it's a reality. And if you're the NFL, yeah, you're giving the Niners a bit of an easier schedule because it's like, I want to make money for the league. Like, I don't want this to collapse. I want this to continue on for hundreds more years, you know?
It also talks to like the 49ers brand power, because they've won so many Super Bowls in the past. They have generations of, kids like me who's never seen a Super Bowl, but whose parents did. They have so many fans that they still, even having a down year where they completely missed the playoffs last year, they know that there's so many fans that are still going to tune in to those primetime games this year. So I think the main reason they get that spot is they just have such a big market, much like the Cowboys. The Cowboys haven't won the Super Bowl, but they're in primetime games all the time because they know that fans are going to watch no matter what.
Quick tangent. I went to Orange Theory today. I'm an Orange Theorist. I work out. And the guy who's coaching today is from the UK. And so I was like, oh, like, where are you from in the UK? And he's like, oh, Leeds. I'm like, get the hell out of here. I cover the Niners and they own Leeds. He didn't really seem to know about that. But I was like, so tell me a little bit about Leeds. He's like, well, we used to be the best team in the English Premier League. And I was like, when? He was like, the mid 80s. I was like, so you're the 49ers of English soccer, which is why the Niners bought you. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I thought it was just, have you ever met someone from Leeds? I have.
I will tell you though, I like soccer and I know about Leeds. They are not the 49ers of soccer
Not anymore.
at all. Like
Are they like the
nowhere
Niners
near.
with Tom Sula? Tom
Dude,
Sula
no,
Niners? Chip
they
Kelly
keep
Niners?
they get relegated, they come back up, they get relegated, they come back up.
That's exciting.
That's how they work. Like they are
That's
not. They're
exciting.
not.
Well, maybe the Niners, maybe the NFL will speak the Niners back into existence as a Super Bowl franchise. Give me your official record prediction. Ashley, you mentioned it earlier, but if people are just tuning in, let's do it again. What do you guys think is going to happen this year?
Well, should we go like game by game if we're gonna do this? Like, is that or what do you want? Do you want to just?
Yeah,
let
we
the
could do
number
that.
out?
It shouldn't take too much time.
I like
It seems like it's easy enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Game 1 in Seattle.
Yep,
I have that as a win for the 49ers.
I back that.
Solely based on vibes and that I'm a Seattle hater. Grant, do you have them losing that one?
Yeah, I have them losing that one. It's a division game on the road. They lost to Seattle last time they faced them.
Young defense.
Say what you want about Darnold and their offense. I think every team in the NFC West has a good defense. I think Seattle's defense is good. And I think the Niners defense will be good by the end of the season, but I'm not sure. I wonder how good their defense in particular is going to be week 1. So, yes,
I agree with that. But week 1, if we're saying, and we're not betting on this, but you have to take in consideration that potentially Christian or Trent would get hurt later on. You
True.
think week 1 they're probably going to be there. That was my thought.
That's a good call.
I think they're going to.
Hey, I'm not saying I'm going to be right. I'm just giving my projection. I've already given it, so I can't change my mind at this point.
Okay, so here
Okay,
I'm tracking this. So we've got Grant saying it's a loss, me and Ashley saying it's a win.
Week 2, Saints at New Orleans.
Yeah, win,
That's
no
win.
doubt.
New coach, new quarterback. I mean, it's going to be Kellen Moore's second game. It's going to be Tyler Shook's second game if he's even playing. Like, yeah, you got to win that game. Now it's a second consecutive road game, which isn't easy, but still.
We all have that as a win, and then they open at home opener. Sorry for not knowing how to talk against the Cardinals. I actually have that as a loss because of what you were kind of saying, Grant. Young defense. Obviously, they went out and got a lot of run stoppers, but I don't know if they're going to be fully, flying together on all cylinders by week 3. That's pretty high expectations. And last year, the Cardinals stomped the 49ers by running on them. Kyler Murray talked after both of his wins against the 49ers and said that the game plan was basically to run directly at Nick Bosa, and it worked. So I don't know if that is going to be their exact game plan, but I have that as a loss for the home opener.
I got to win. Home opener, it's a win. That's simple for me.
That's fair.
I got it as a loss. I think Arizona did more to improve their defense in the short term. I mean, they drafted Walter Nolan and Will Johnson, but they also signed Calais Campbell and Josh Sweat. So I'm looking at that team as a team that could have a really good defense this year. And Kyler is really dangerous before Call of Duty comes out. So I'm looking at this one as a loss.
That's fair.
I'm with you, Grant.
We got the Jags after.
Yeah, so then they have the Jags, and my takeaway is that the Jags have always been a get-right game for the 49ers. Now, obviously, they have Liam Cohen, who did well with Baker Mayfield, and I'm not completely, out on Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he's the generational player they thought he was out of college, but I don't think he's horrible. But I think it's too early in the season for them to have totally remade. I think the 49ers beat the Jags.
I mean, they have Mr. Duval himself, but I don't think it's enough. I think it's going to be a loss for Jacksonville. Win for the Niners.
They also got Travis Hunter, but yeah, I wouldn't expect the Jags to win this game. Although, to me, I mean, this Niners team lost to Miami last year. This Niners team down that stretch at the end would have lost to Jacksonville. So I'm not saying this Niners team is that Niners team, but if there's a couple injuries, any game is losable. And Liam Cohen, I do think, will be a big upgrade for them. I'm not saying he's going to be firing out of the gates in September. And so I think that's another good reason to face the Jacksonville Jaguars week 4 as opposed to week 14. New coach.
So I have them 4-0. Ashley has them 3-1. Grant has them 2-2. Continue.
2-2.
Then they face the Rams, and I have this one as a loss for the 49ers.
Thursday night on the road too.
Yeah, on the road. Matthew Stafford's going to be healthy still. They, only improved. They have Devontae Adams now and Puka Nacua. The 49ers lost to the Rams without Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua last year. You add in, I don't know who's gonna cover Adams, to be fair, and they've already struggled with Nacua. I just have that, especially earlier on in the season when I think those two main stars are still gonna be healthy. I think that's a loss for the 49ers.
Yeah, I back that loss 100%.
Yeah, Rams are the best team in the division. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, then they go Tampa.
Yikes.
Grant, I want to hear yours. Grant.
Two road games in a row. At least you get a little bit extra rest, right? Because a Thursday game. But to me, I mean, these teams played in November. McCaffrey played in that game. Trent Williams played in that game. Ayuk didn't play in that game, but I don't think Ayuk's going to play in this game. And the Niners won 23-20. Big reason they won is because Mike Evans and Chris Godwin weren't playing. I'm picking Tampa. It's a good team. It's a really good team. It's a playoff team.
The 49ers to beat this team. They lost Liam Cohn. Now, I know that the guy that they have on offense, their offensive coordinator was kind of already there, so maybe it won't be as much of a drop-off, but I'm kind of going opposite with you, Grant. Jake Moody missed 4 kicks in that game. If he would have made one of those, they would have never even gone to overtime. So I'm hoping that Jake Moody isn't on the team.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute. He might not be on the team. Yeah.
So I'm putting that as a win for the 49ers. But I feel like you made a good case. I'm just being more optimistic.
I'm with Grant, to be honest. I think I just got something about the Bucks, man. I'm going to be honest. I am going to sound crazy.
So I think
Baker's good. I like Baker. I think he's good. I do, and I just think they're going to do
Baker.
it.
He's loved him for so long.
I think too.
Baker
right
might be the 5th best quarterback in the league. You know, if the top 5 are Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen, and Burrow, like everyone agrees that those are the top 4. 5 might be him. Like I think I like him better than Justin Herbert.
I can't
He's
tell
got
if
a little
you're
bit more like competitor to him than Justin Herbert. What happened?
You had everyone on your side, and then you said something insane, and everyone was like, "Wait, just like we were all following." We were like, "Yeah, good point, Grant, good point," and then you got a little too excited.
I just don't agree with that. I don't know if he's number 5, but like I like it though. I like it.
I mean, how about who would you take over him? Stafford?
Yeah, but not to interrupt you, but we just got a super chat that's insane, and I feel like we'll get
to it.
Okay.
Because first, all day, every day, Kim says, Grant, I have a set of nuts that are attached. Who knew?
That's pretty sick, dude.
Poor says just sub to Connor's OnlyFans. Oh, we all are. I mean,
dude, no, I swear to God, I've been not looking at chat the entire time I wasn't looking, and then I opened it one time, and that was the first thing I saw, and that made me laugh.
Think about it. Like if someone who calls themselves I'm poor is subscribed to Connor's OnlyFans, imagine why aren't you?
Well, if you're poor, you're subscribing to my OnlyFans.
That just speaks to how good it is. David Kendall Jr. says the good thing about this is that Brock plays badly, Kyle gets fired, and Salah moves in. Do you think that the future of sports content creation is on OnlyFans? Like one day we'll be like, you know what? I'm taking my whole.
What a pull!
Maybe you get more money, a bigger percentage. YouTube, I'm kidding. I'm with you.
What about like Patreon though? Like what about like that?
I feel like OnlyFans could be better though.
Okay, I mean, hey, fair.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I think OnlyFans is like paid comedians to go on there. So maybe
see what I'm saying? I think it's the future. I think it's the future.
Pat McAfee after ESPN, he's on OnlyFans.
I'll read this again. The good thing about this is that Brock plays badly, Kyle gets fired, Salah moves in, says David Kendall Jr. George Larmy says, hey, Grant, I told you this was going to happen. They were going to make the same Jimmy Garoppolo mistake. They're paying this dude a lot more than they paid Jimmy. Grant. All day, every day. Kim says, easiest schedule in 10 years for any NFL team. Sean says, Brock's contract means Trent is in the mix.
Smart.
I believe it when I see it. Eric Garcia donates $300. Did you mess up? Did you mean to do like $3 and put a couple extra zeros in there? Thank you, Eric. With all the rookies, who will Banana Hands play if he doesn't play rookies? Any news on cap hit for the the Glock deal? That'll come out in the next couple of days, I would imagine. But as far as Banana Hands go with the rookies, I look at this team as being like almost having co-head coaches. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it wasn't like that the first time Salah was here. But now that Salah's been a head coach and is kind of coming back as a savior, I would imagine he's going to have the say on which players play on defense. And I don't know that he did the first time, so that could take care of that.
This kind of goes
Eric.
into the other super chat we had where if the team performs badly, do you think that there's room for when they move off of Kyle Shanahan for Saleh to take his spot? Is that something that is in Jed York's mind? Irresponsibly speculating.
Say it again. That blew my mind. Can you say that again one more time?
It was just so good.
I was saying this super chat kind of connects to the other super chat where they said if the team performs badly and they move off of Kyle, then there's room for Saleh to step in. Do you think that that is a possibility that's in Jed York's mind? Connor's saying no. I think yes. Connor, why no?
I just don't think Saleh can do it, to be honest. I think we saw it in New York. They kind of cut him out of nowhere. I just think at this point, like, Shanahan is the one, Saleh is the two, you know? And I don't really think that they're thinking too far in the future. I think they're so locked in on Kyle.
Well, we'll see how this season plays out. If they miss the
could be on the hot
playoff
seat.
with this cupcake schedule, someone might have to be held accountable. Sven says Krug covered Brock's cap hit 18% of the cap.
Yikes.
Okay. Yikes.
Yeah, that's not the best.
But again, like, we don't know what the cap hit's going to be in 2025. It'll probably be pretty low because this contract extent, you got it, kicks in 2026. Now, the signing bonus will be prorated, so the cap hit will be more. It'll be probably $8-something million. I don't know. But in 2026, it could be $20 million. It could be $50 million. It could be, I have no idea. We'll find out. Sven, did you get the fly? You didn't get the fly.
I didn't get the fly. I missed it again.
You never get the fly. All right,
I keep failing.
The next deal the Niners are working on. What?
We never finished the thing if you wanted to finish it. We don't have to.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry.
That kind of distracted us because that guy donated like $300 and I thought we should go to the super chats.
All right, we're back.
Yeah, Eric, what the heck, Eric? Dude, don't do that.
How dare you?
Falcons game. After Tampa, they played the Falcons. I have them beating the Falcons. I'm not scared of Michael Penix. Is that how you pronounce his name? Michael Penix. Not scared of him.
It's a dangerous name.
I don't feel dangerous game. They lost.
I originally called this a loss yesterday when the schedule came out. Was it yesterday the schedule came out? 2 days ago.
Yeah.
2 days ago. Yesterday. 2 days ago. I called it a loss just to switch things up and not be so predictable. I'm going to say this one's a win simply because who really knows about Michael Penix? I mean, no one. Not even the Falcons. So I'll give this one a win for the 49ers. Changing my mind.
All around? Dubs all around? Is that what we're saying?
Although I do think they're kind of loaded. Like, if Penix is solid, dude, Bijan Robinson is better than every running back, save maybe Barkley. He's up there. Top 5 for sure. And then Drake London's really freaking good. I don't know. See.
I'm giving him the dub anyway.
Who cares? I feel like everyone thought he was going to be really good, and then he just wasn't. But moving on from that, then they faced the Texans in Houston. D'Amico Ryans, Robert Saleh, Kyle Shanahan, all in the same building. Really quick, this is just the thing that just popped in my head is you can't pay Brock Purdy when going into the Texans game. I don't think they're winning the quarterback matchup. You know what I mean? You're paying Brock Purdy 53 and they're facing CJ Stroud and you're like, ooh, they're losing that quarterback matchup. But
yeah.
I think it's a loss because D'Amico. I just think D'Amico's good.
Now, I think Stroud's going to have a big bounce back year.
D'Amico learned from Robert Saleh. Do you think maybe Robert Saleh feels like, you know how everyone is like, oh, Kyle likes to school his underlings? Maybe Robert Saleh's like that. I think the Jets and the Houston and the Texans played last year and the Jets won. And the Jets were like a bad team and they still won.
But I think this is my vibe. I think Saleh's going to go in with the trying to little brother him thing. And I think D'Amico is just not going to have it. And he's going to big brother him. That's kind of what's going to happen.
What week is this? Week 7?
Week 7. Or no, I think it's 8. Week
8. Okay. I mean, I still think that the Houston Texans are going to have a much better defense than the Niners in this game. The Niners defense might be rounded into form, but still a little early for Alfred Collins and Nick Martin and Upton Stout.
Okay. We all have that as you guys have that as a loss. I have it as a win. Oh. Then they go and face the Giants. Now, this is back-to-back road games, and the Giants have a horrible field. The Giants are, a horrible team, so I don't know how scared you are about them. But this is when I start thinking, you guys are talking about defensively and the rookies getting in shape. This is when I start to worry about the offense and the older veterans and the injury-prone veterans. Back-to-back road games, they go face the Giants in New Jersey or New York, whatever you want to call it. I have this as a win for the 49ers, but I start to worry about their health moving forward.
Oh, that was a big one. Oh, that was a full neck.
I muted it though.
pitch.
Here's the thing: this is clearly like a win. Like no one would pick the Giants to beat the Niners today in this matchup, but you don't know who's going to be healthy and stuff. And like I think you don't even know who the Giants quarterback's going to be. Russell Wilson probably too old to beat the Niners, but he's 18-3 against him. Jackson Dart is kind of like Brock Purdy. It'd be interesting to see if he's in there. And Abdul Carter, I think, is a great player. I mean, he hasn't proven it yet, but I thought he was the best player in the draft coming out. They also have Brian Burns. They also have Dexter Lawrence. Their D-line has talent. I'm picking the Niners, but like it doesn't look like a 30-10 win on paper right now to me.
I was waiting for you to say that the Niners lose that game. I was just
no. Brian Daboll could be fired at this point. He's so bad.
They love him though. They really do love Daboll.
No, he's on a short leash now, I feel like.
He is, but I think they love him.
Okay, so we all have them beating the Giants. Then they come back home and they face the Rams. Originally, I thought this would be a W for the 49ers. I'm putting it as a loss because, like I said, I'm worried coming up 2 road games, bad field. Is Christian McCaffrey playing in this game? Is Trent Williams playing in this game? So I'm putting it as a loss against the Rams. So I have the Rams, I think, beating the 49ers twice.
I'm going opposite. I'm saying they're not losing to them twice. I already had them lose to them once. They're winning the second one.
Got it. That's fair.
No, they're losing to them twice for sure.
Never mind. They're losing to them twice, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess I'm wrong. Shoot.
You can be right. I don't know, man. Week 10. This is week 10. Like, is Trent Williams gonna be playing in this game? Or is he still there at week 10? We'll see. We'll see.
I tried to fist bump you, because we were like,
bad.
yeah, we both said they were going to lose. And then you didn't, you still haven't done it back. And now I'm feeling insecure about it, but it's fine. Maybe he can't hear me. He doesn't care at all.
I think he's just glitched.
I want you to give me a fist bump.
I think you're going the wrong side. You're going for me.
Okay. After they face the Rams, then they face the Cardinals. Unlike the Rams, which I have beating the 49ers twice, I have the 49ers beating the Cardinals. I think Call of Duty is out by now. I think that the run defense is more in shape at this point. And so I think that they learn they can contain Kyler Murray a little bit better, stop James Conner. James Conner might be injured by this point. I'm talking about 49ers offense injury prone. So is the Cardinals offense. I'm not predicting, I don't want him to get injured. I'm just saying if it's something that we as Niner fans are worried about, I'm sure the Cardinals feel the same way. I think that the 49ers switch up their luck and they beat the Cardinals the second time around.
And once again, I'm just opposite again because I had them beating the Cardinals. Now I'm doing the same thing I just did with the Rams, and they're losing to the Cardinals. They're not beating them twice.
I'm picking the Cardinals to win this one, even though Call of Duty is a big factor in the Niners' favor. Later in the season, I'm curious about the Niners' injuries on offense. I do think that the defense will be rounding into form, and it'll do a better job in this game than they did the first time against the Cardinals. But what's up with Brock? What's up with Trent? What's up with Christian? Is Brandon back? Those are the questions with the offense, and I think there'll be big questions as the season goes on. But everyone knows I'm just a huge Arizona Cardinals fan. People are like, Grant, what team do you root for? Obviously the Cardinals. So much history, wonderful jerseys, tremendous drama. Love the Cardinals.
Wait, I missed that. Are you picking Cardinals then?
Murray getting paid.
Oh, yeah.
You're picking Cardinals. Wow.
They're my dark horse team to like make a big jump every year. It's been like 5 years in a row. 5 years in a row. This is the year though. Watch. This is the year.
Right, can you pull up how much is Kyler Murray getting paid compared to
45?
Brock? That's upsetting. When you think about talent level, it's upsetting. But Okay, so then they face the Panthers.
Neither one can see what they're throwing to. I mean, Sorry.
No, Brock Purdy did come out and say that he was throwing blind 60% of the time or something insane.
40. For
He said
Kyler,
that
it could be
this
75.
offseason.
I don't know.
He said that this offseason, and then they paid him
He still got
$53 million a
paid.
year.
Dude's a genius. I'm never criticizing him again. All right, what's the next game? What we got?
I
Panthers,
just said it's the Panthers.
Win, no doubt win.
Win.
Although
we
that
go.
team, it may not be as bad as we think. Like Bryce Young is pretty good, and Ted McMillan is too. But I know you like Ted McMillan.
I love Ted McMillan. But
I feel like the Panthers have been so bad so many years in a row that they're just gonna like have to be good soon because they've had so many high draft picks. But I don't know. Maybe not this year.
Okay,
Next
so
year,
then they
not this year.
face the Browns in Cleveland. I have this as a loss. The 49ers haven't beat the Browns in Cleveland since like 1984, some insane stat.
It's a long time ago.
Also, it's going to be November 30th, which means bad weather, and I don't trust Purdy in bad weather. Good thing we signed him. But I have this as a loss right before the bye week, going in the bye week a little bit down. But yeah, I feel like they have a good defense. I know their offense. Who's going to be the quarterback by then. I think they have 12 different options. Who knows? But I think defensively, they're going to stop the 49ers, and Brock Purdy's going to struggle in that weather.
Mark it on your calendars, ladies and gentlemen. November 30th is the day the streak dies. The 49ers, Brock Purdy, will finally figure out how to play in tough weather. And the 49ers will do it, and they'll win.
To me, the issue is the weather, but also Jim Schwartz, D coordinator for the Browns. He's 9-1 in his career somehow against Kyle Shanahan. That is some serious ownage. I think the wide nine, Jim Schwartz wide nine has something to do with it. It's why the Niners run the wide nine. It's sort of Kyle's acknowledgement that like he has a tough time against it. And there's got to be some psychological ownage there. Just a couple of years ago, was it 2023 when the Niners had the best roster in the league? They went to Cleveland and lost to one and only none other than PJ Walker. Not because PJ Walker was good, but because the defense was. So whether it's Joe Flacco, no. If it's Kenny Pickett, Browns are losing. But if it's Joe Flacco or Shador Sanders or maybe even Dylan Gabriel, who's kind of like the left-handed Brock Purdy, I'm going to have to go with Cleveland here. Cleveland for the Jim Schwartz factor.
Coaching matchup. I like that. So then they go into the bye week, in my opinion, on a sour note, week 14 bye week. And then they come out and I think they, turn the tides and they stomp the brakes on the Titans. I'm not scared about the Titans. Are you guys scared about the Titans?
Nope. No fear at all.
Who's one player that you worry about in the Titans other than Cam Ward?
Will Levis, definitely. Sorry, I had to.
Yeah, no, that's a win. That's a win.
Are we all saying win?
Yeah. And then following that, I have them with another win against the Colts. Maybe Anthony Richardson will switch it up or something, but I'm not betting on the Colts.
Same. Definitely not.
No.
Okay.
It's interesting.
Then this one is maybe controversial for me. They face the Bears, and I have this as a loss. I think if the 49ers could have chosen when to face the Bears, it would have been earlier on. They have a new, head coach, new coordinators, young quarterback. They went out and got a lot of players in free agency and in the draft, really bolstered up that offensive line. Maybe if it was earlier on in the year, you'd put, that the 49ers could win, but I think by the end of the season, they're going to be on, firing on all cylinders. And I have Ben Johnson taking the Bears and having a win on that one. So I think the 49ers lose.
Yeah, I'm backing you, Ashley. I think it's the same thing. Ben Johnson, sleeper.
There's something I don't like about Caleb Williams. He's in the news a lot, and it always seems for like Aaron Rodgers-y kind of diva stuff. Like, oh, he didn't want to play for the Bears, and he's blaming the Bears for not teaching him how to watch film. It's like, man, how come we never hear from Jaden Daniels ever? But we hear from you all the time. That being said, I still think he's good, even though I don't like him. I'm looking at his numbers. He got sacked a bajillion times last year. Probably some of that was his fault. He only threw 6 picks. So maybe with Ben Johnson and this revamped offensive line, it's going to work, even though he's kind of Aaron Rodgers Jr. in my opinion. But if he could play like that, that's a good thing for them. So yeah, I'm picking the Bears.
Can I establish one thing here though, really fast?
Yeah.
Because like, if we're gonna really compare him and like Aaron Rodgers for his whole debacle of not wanting to go to the Bears, like if you were the first pick, if you were Caleb Williams, not knowing what the Bears would become, who would want to go to the goddamn Bears? Now, they look great.
Make
they look
him
great.
A diva. Because Eli Manning didn't want to go to the Chargers. Does he not come across as a little bit of a diva?
A little bit, like I'm not even trying to be mean, but the nail painting and some of that stuff, like
I wasn't even talking about that. I
kind of did, but I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's
good too. I think he's good too. That's my cognitive dissonance. I don't really like him, but I have to acknowledge that I think he's good, and I think whether I like him or not really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
In that same article that said he wanted to not go to the Bears, they also talked about how he was watching film alone and none of the head coach, the quarterback coach, no one was telling him what to watch. He was just putting it on alone in a room. So there has to be improvement there. They got better players. He's going to have better guidance. So that's the Bears game. Then
last one
opened at Seattle against the Seahawks. They're closing at home against the Seahawks. And I have them beating the Seahawks. So, yeah.
I'm doing the same thing I've done every time. Nope, they're not beating them twice. Go for it.
I have Mac Jones starting this game because the Niners are eliminated from playoff contention. So Mac Jones starts and they lose. And really, I mean, it's good news because now with this 7-10 record that I project them to have, they'll have an opportunity to draft Trent Williams' replacement. So I mean, I'm not saying they're tanking or they should, but it kind of works out.
I mean, it is kind of interesting how we've done this. So Grant, you've got him 7-10. Ashley, you've got him the highest. You got him 12-5. I'm in the middle. I'm at 11-6. Very different paths.
I'm at 11-6 last year. Mm-hmm. And I'm tired of giving them the benefit of the doubt. Everyone's like, yeah, but they had just bad luck with injuries. Or they had injury-prone players who got hurt. And I feel like I got hoodwinked by the Warriors. You know what I mean? They appealed to my emotions. And I'm like, they could do this. They could do this. They could do this. And then they all get hurt. I'm like, no, one's got 37, two guys at 35. Like, absolutely. What was I thinking? And I feel like that's the Niners right now. Like, 5 rookies on defense, Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey again. Like,
I'm just kind of confused, Grant. I feel like I remember hearing you say that you're not a Warriors fan. So I'm not. I don't get the heart.
I'm not. I'm a basketball fan, and I get emotional because I love the sport of basketball so much. But I wouldn't. I used to root for the Warriors, but I used to root for the 49ers too, and I don't do either of those things anymore because I'm 37. I'm older than Trent Williams.
People who don't know Grant outside of watching him, he really doesn't root for the 49ers. I think he actually enjoys when they lose because he can crush them. He is a Warriors fan. He deep down, he wanted the Warriors to win. I'm exposed. He wanted the Warriors to win.
I totally disagree. One, I don't want the Niners to lose. Excuse me. And 2, when the Warriors lost, I instantly was like intrigued because I like being the guy that does the instant reaction stream after losses. And I know that in the Bay, most people don't like talking about local teams after they lose. Like everyone wants to jump in and talk about the Warriors after they win and be like, you know what? I have some really original analysis. Hold on. Stephen Curry is a great player. Like, yeah, okay, that's great. But like, what about when they lose? What are you going to say now? I love opportunities like that. So it's not like it ruined my night.
I'm just going to be honest. When you have to argue that you're not a fan of something.
Changing the subject, the 49ers have signed a new kicker. His name is Greg Joseph. He's a 30-year-old kicker, and he's been around the block. Let me tell you a little bit about Gregory Joseph. Now, he went to FAU, of course. And he started off his career with Cleveland, then went to Tennessee, Minnesota. Last year, he played for 3 teams, which isn't great. In the Giants. Then he was with the Commanders. Got replaced by who they have, the guy. Zane Gonzalez, who used to be with the Niners, competed with Jake Moody, lost the competition, went to Washington, did pretty well. Then he went to the Jets. I'm talking about.
That's not good.
Greg Joseph, who could forget Greg Joseph, So he was exposed to Brant Boyer, or Boyer was exposed to him, pause. And now they're reuniting here. In his 6 years in the league, he has made 82.3% of his field goals, as opposed to Jake Moody, who has made 76.3%. So what do you think of this power move?
I think they're really.
They have another guy. They have another guy that they brought in too, right? So is it going to be like a
they have a kicker
competition
trio. Most teams have one kicker. The Niners have three. I think this is forward thinking.
Room. It's all about the kicker room now.
Yeah. You have one guy for extra points, one guy for the long kicks, one guy for the intermediate. I think that's the future.
I like that they brought someone else in because I've been a Jake Moody hater. So that's, I guess, my takeaway. I don't know anything about this guy. Doesn't sound great that he was tossed around 3 different teams. Doesn't sound great that he was replaced by a guy that the 49ers could just still have in the building if they didn't originally get rid of him. So those things don't sound good. But the fact that there's any competition in general, I do like. I'm all for competition. My bet is on that. The other, not the guy they just signed, not Jake Moody, but the other guy. But I don't even know his name, so clearly not that confident.
I mean, it's better than just having Jake Moody, like, if we're honest, because we want to look at one of the bigger holes last season, and if we're not going to be talking about like huge, massive injuries, even though Moody had one, like kicker was the biggest hole, kind of. Yeah. So it's like, all right, you can now deal with that and figure it out. Is Greg Joseph really going to be the guy over Jake Moody? God knows, but as long as it's an improvement from whoever it is, we'll take it. We'll take it.
I'd be nervous if I were Moody. Maybe Moody wants a fresh start somewhere else. Maybe Moody doesn't care. But you bring in a new special teams coordinator. The old guy drafted you. The new guy isn't invested in you. You don't even know his opinion of you. Then he brings in Greg Joseph, who he worked with last year on the Jets. I'd be nervous. Like, Greg. You liked him enough to bring him here. And the thing about Moody's, like, everyone knows he can kick the ball far. Everyone knows he has a strong leg. So if he shows that in practice, even preseason, can you trust him? Because the issue with him is like mental, right? He looks like he has the yips. I mean, he missed an extra point in the Super Bowl. He cost the Niners multiple games last year. So can you trust him? And can the team trust him? Like, is he just a downer to have on your sideline to just like look at him like it's a close game and you're like, man, he's going to do it again. I don't know. I just feel like Greg Joseph's going to take his job. That's my guess.
I think the question that I now have is, with Debo gone, does that make Jake feel better, or does it make him feel worse knowing that the rest of the team is
maybe that's why he wasn't good. He was like physically afraid of Debo Samuel.
I mean, he's a threat, man. If I'm Jake Moody and Debo Samuel's coming up to me, I'm a little quaking in my boots, you know? Like, Debo's bigger.
All day, every day, Kim says, Eric, I spent... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Boyer did really talk up Jake Moody. Now, maybe, what is he going to do? Talk down about him? But in that interview, he was like, I don't blame the 49ers. He was number one on everyone, the number one kicker on everyone's board. He's, such a talent. It's just a mindset thing. I don't know. Get the dude a therapist.
What are you going to say? To me, like, you don't shit on your employer. They drafted him and they hired you maybe to salvage him. And you're going to be like, yeah, he sucks. I don't know what to say about that. No, you'd be like, no, I can do it. But just in case I can't, I know this guy, Greg Joseph, and he's pretty solid.
I mean, I think Ashley's kind of hitting something here, though. Like, therapy might be the best option for him right now with everything he's tried. Maybe therapy.
I bet he's been in therapy.
Well, how could we ever know? The therapist can't tell
our business. But why wouldn't he be? I mean, that's such a great resource.
It is.
Freaking JJ McCarthy had his therapist on the sideline in college. Did you see that?
I did see that.
Have that with Jake Moody. I mean, maybe they wouldn't have lost like 4 of their games yesterday or last year.
Sideline shrink for Jake.
Bro, what if they get a hypnotist and they can hypnotize him to make field goals?
What?
Bro, why hasn't the league done this?
What if they get a robot who can kick field goals?
Yo,
what if they have a sideline shrink for Jake Moody, but she realizes that Kyle Shanahan is a head case and ends up being Kyle's sideline shrink?
Well, Kyle wouldn't have that.
What if they had a group session mid-game?
Damn, that would actually be cute.
All day, every day. Kim says, Eric, I spent $300 just in $2 increments. That's true. Joseph for real says, I was here today for Purdy. Hope Shanahan is as well. For real. Shyla Q says the Niners just signed a new kicker.
Hey,
Shyla.
Just did it for
All
you,
right, it's
Shiloh. That's
424
what
on the
we thought.
West Coast. It's time to get ready. Ready for what? I don't know. But
go
I'm gonna
Carolina
get ready.
Panthers,
I'm
baby.
gonna get ready so I don't have to. I'm gonna stay ready so I don't have to get ready. It's Friday night. Debauchery. No, I'm not gonna say that because I don't want to get framed for something if something goes down. I'm just gonna stay at home, read the newspaper and the Bible. Read the Bible tonight. Keep it chill. Thanks for watching. Connor, Ashley, thank you so much for being here and for carrying the show.
Thank you, Grant. Thanks for having the trio back.
Aw.
Yeah. Hell yeah. See
I
you
do
guys
wanna
soon.
ask
We'll
the-
do it again.